Hi everyone, today we are officially starting to react to some videos. So let's react to this guy's video. It's gonna scroll. I have watched him sometimes, so I really like his videos. So let's grab the
When I was around
video.
14 years old, I always went on the internet, and I had this app called Discord. After a while of having Discord, I met a boy.
Okay, who even has Discord anymore? Like, raise your hand up if you have Discord.
Named Luke. We started talking for a while, and one day he asked me what I looked like. Without thinking, I sent him a picture of me. He told me that I was beautiful and that he loved my long dark hair and how I did my eyeliner. I just said thanks, thinking nothing of it.
Why do you talk to boys on internet? So this is like this video called True Creepy Stalker Horror Story Animated. So I'm gonna say every title. So today I think we're gonna watch 4 videos.
Around a week later, he told me that he loved me, and I felt the same way about him. We had so much in common. Luke was very good looking, too. He had a different style from normal people. He wore a mask and always wore the color black. A while later, I realized it started becoming too
I know why he likes her because he's wearing black all day long and he has black hair. So they are match made in heaven.
much for me. He would always ask me personal questions like where I lived, and I told him I lived in California. He also lived in California and said he wanted to run away and meet me. He said that our relationship was going to get real. We kept talking every day, and he got so overprotective and would text me every few minutes. One day, I was home alone because my parents were on a trip to celebrate their 20th anniversary. I didn't mind until it became nighttime. It was so dark outside, and
Yeah, I'm 9 and I stay home. I love it because, yeah, I love to stay home alone even at night because I make popcorn and watch scary movies or videos all night long. Like, my parents are, and my sister and my little bro, always are till 4 a.m. at night, so love that.
it gave me the chills. I decided to close all the windows and make sure that the doors were locked. I sat in the room and watched some TV. After around 20 minutes, I heard a knocking sound coming from the window behind me. I realized I didn't pull the blinds over it and that some kids were probably playing tricks on me. I got up and went to the window. As I got closer, my heart kept beating faster and faster. I looked out the window and no one was there. So I just closed it with the blinds and sat back down. After that, I got a message from Luke. He said, "Let's meet up now." I told him I was busy and that I couldn't, but he said that I wasn't and that he could see me. I felt so afraid and told him to stop scaring me because I was home alone, which I really shouldn't have told him. I asked him how he knew where I lived, and he told me that he looked on Snapchat and found my exact location so he could meet up with me whenever he wanted. I was so afraid. I heard a knock on the door, and a teen boy's voice tell me to open the door.
Yep, that's a stalker. So that's what I do. You don't go on the internet, kids. Please.
It sounded so attractive, and I knew that it had to be Luke. I stayed still and didn't know what to do. I
Gonna
was home alone and no
fall.
one could defend me when I'm alone. I texted him
Gonna fall, beach. Gonna fall. Gonna fall, fall. Don't fall. Please don't fall. No. Oh my gosh. Ow.
and told him to leave me alone now. Luke knocked again and said he wasn't going to leave. I finally got up and opened the door. There he was, standing there, ever so tall. He smiled and bit his lip and invited himself in. I told him several times to leave, but he didn't listen. Then he went quiet, and I tapped his back. He ripped his mask off to reveal all the scars he had around his lips. I froze in
WTF.
shock and told him to please leave now. I was so angry I didn't even care. Then he smiled creepily and ran downstairs to the kitchen, and I ran after him. He was holding a knife and then ran after me. I ran outside, hid in the bushes, and called 911 as fast as I could. The police arrived quickly. They found him. But what was even more creepy was that he smirked at me when they took him into their car. I called my parents shortly after and told them everything, and they came home. I never want to stay home alone again. It creeps me out. I deleted Discord and blocked him before I did. Having an internet boyfriend will haunt me forever, and I will never forget the creepy smirk he gave me.
So, don't have an internet boyfriend, you idiots. Now let's watch another video. Go up, up, up. Let's watch this one. My brother takes my phone. So, I met a creepy guy lying down at the street. So let's
So I'm a
watch.
nurse, and I was driving home from work one night. The roads were deserted, and it was freezing
Uh-huh.
midnight. I don't live far from work, maybe a couple of miles. I'm driving down a residential street around the corner from my house, and I see a man laying face down in the
Like, it looks like he's like hiccuping.
street. Once again, I'm a nurse, so my first thought was great. Gotta help this guy. I was coming off of a long shift, and falls happen all the time. As I slowed down the car, I suddenly realized what an
Me
idiot
don't
move it
fall
was.
again.
I'm a 100-pound woman and I don't carry a weapon.
100.
I thought I
Wait, you're 100? I'm just 25. I'm just 25 pounds. So, oh my gosh, I'm gonna fall like literally again. Ow!
should do something to help this guy, so I called 911 as I drove past him
Mama,
and slowed to a stop at the end of the block.
mommy,
While I was stopped at
oh,
the light, I explained to the dispatcher that there was a man in the road who might need assistance. All of a sudden, I hear a loud bang, bang
oh,
from the
this is
driver's side window.
fast.
I screamed and I looked over. A man was
Wait, what is wrong with his face?
pounding on my window and jiggling the handle of my locked door. I looked in the rearview mirror and saw that there was no man laying in the street anymore. Still on the phone with 911, I screamed, "I'm so scared," to the dispatcher and floored it through the red light. I quickly told him what had happened, and even though I was right by my house, he told me to keep driving. After a few minutes, I had calmed down and he told me to loop back around. I pulled over down the road from my house and I stayed in the car. I didn't see the man anywhere, so I got off the phone with the dispatcher, who told me he was sending a police car to cruise the area. As I gather up my things, I do a final scan of the area, and I see the man. He is walking with two other men. I hunched way down in my car until they were further down the road, then bolted into my house. I don't know if he had ill intent, but it freaks me the hell out that he wasn't alone. Just always, always lock your doors.
Yeah, kids, lock your doors. So let's watch another video. Let's watch one that I haven't seen. Like, oh my gosh, this is 1 year ago. It's called True Creepy Camping Story.
I was on summer break and went camping with my friend parents. We went to the lake during the day and did the s'mores thing at night. His parents shared a tent while my friend and I had our own. I can't remember where the campsite was, and I'm not really in contact with my friend anymore. But 15 years later, I'm assuming it wasn't the safest place to camp. Here's why. I woke up sometime in the early
Here is why. It's Halloween, by the way.
morning, like 3 or 4 a.m., and immediately saw a man's face
What the frick?
looking in the tent at us. He had unzipped the door just enough to stick his head inside.
Well, we have like a tent too, but our tent, like, we can open it, but when we're inside, we can open it, close it, but we can take the tab off from the inside, so no one can get in. From the inside, we can open it, put the tab back up if we go anywhere. So
He looked
yeah.
absolutely insane. He had big eyes and wild hair. I was so stiff from fear, I literally couldn't do anything. The man kept moving his head from left to right, very, very slowly, as if it was uncontrollable. I guess
I would like scream, beach, like that, but just louder. Okay.
my friend could hear me breathing loudly or something, because he woke up too. He
That
had the
loud?
same reaction as me, and just laid there in terror, looking at this mysterious man. I'm not certain how long he was sitting there looking at us, but it felt like hours, shaking his head back and forth.
Yeah, you need to like scream because he's gonna run away, and your mother, well, your friend's mother and dad is gonna just come and find the man and call 911. Ha.
At some point, we heard a noise close by, and so did the man. He disappeared quick, and a couple minutes later we got out of our tent and woke up his parents.
Quick.
The guy was long gone.
The guy was long gone, and that's how we die.
I'm still afraid of camping to this day.
I'm still afraid of camping to this day. Okay, one more. My new house is haunted.
About 10 years ago,
About 10 years ago.
my 3-year-old son and I moved to a house from our apartment. It was a very old building, and the inside of the house always seemed to be just a little darker.
Just a little dark. Just a little dark. Just a little dark. Okay. Just a little dark. Hello?
And just a little colder than it should have been. Not
And just a little cold. Just a little cold. Just a little cold. So next video is gonna be a TikTok video, so you will finally see my face. Yeah. By the way, I'm 12, so don't judge me.
long after we moved in. A friend of mine came to visit. The whole time we were sitting and talking, she seemed very uncomfortable. When I looked at her face, I noticed that something in the other room had caught her attention. Her eyes grew wide and she said, "I have to go." I asked her what was wrong, but she refused to tell me. Her odd reaction was freaking me out, so I kept after her. On her way out the door, she finally blurted out, "This house is..." She wouldn't tell me what it was.
This house is haunted. This house is haunted. What? Like, you need to say this house is haunted and then tell what you're gonna say. And then you move out of that shitty house.
Was, or what made her think so. To this day, she still refuses to tell me what she saw. About a week later, my 3-year-old son casually asked me who the old lady in the bathroom was. One day, I was leaving my house for work, and I got to the car and I realized I needed to run back in the house to get something. I walked into the house, and as soon as I got inside, this framed photo on the wall shot off the wall. It didn't fall down. It shot horizontally away from the wall, and it landed on a mosaic table with enough force to break some of the tiles off of it. I felt like whatever was in the house was pissed, and that I came back in after it thought I had left for the day. After living in the house for about 6 months, I noticed a weird square cut into the boards on the deck.
Like, why do you live there? Like, why? Just move out. When your friend said, your house is haunted, you need to move out immediately.
There was no handle, but I was able to
Okay,
pry
little
it up.
brother's
The hole was
erupting.
just big enough to fit through, and there was a ladder going down. For some reason, I went down and I found myself in what looked like a homemade basement. It was basically just a room dug out of the earth, with no constructed walls or stone supports or anything like that. It was very dark, but I could see something over in the corner. It was a suspicious looking stone. It looked like one of those old headstones you see in cemeteries. Just then, some insects started jumping on me.
Ew, get out of there.
So I got out of the basement as fast as I could and never went back. Now this is the part that affected me the most. It's also the reason we left the house. One night I was in bed laying on my stomach just about to fall asleep, and I heard someone walking.
Like the lights don't work in my office. Everywhere else, like, the lights are working, but in this room, I'm like, oh my god. The lights aren't working. What the fuck? Ah, because there's now light bulbs. Right.
The footsteps came from the doorway over to my bed. I didn't realize until later that the fact that I heard the footsteps was weird because the room was carpeted. When the footsteps reached my bed, I felt someone put their hands on my back. 2 hands, just gently laid flat on my back and kept me there. I assumed it was my son. "What are you doing?" I asked, but there was no answer. I looked up. No one was there. I got up and checked my son's bedroom, and he was in bed fast asleep. We moved out soon after that, and we never looked back.
Yeah, idiots. Damn. That's it for this episode. So, bye.